Well, good morning, and welcome to a somber day on Mirador Television, a day in which the country comes to grips with the fact that our long-serving monarch of 70 years, Queen Elizabeth II, has passed away. The Queen is dead. Long live the King. It is now the era of Charles III. How will that stack up? Well, that's anybody's guess. But for the moment, let's remember with fond memories one of the greatest leaders in the world, and I say that advisedly, and one of the greatest governance systems in the world, being abused somewhat at the moment, but nonetheless, the system is sound, and the leader was sound. And we are saying goodbye. I understand there'll be 10 days of mourning, and then when the coronation will take place, I have no idea. Is it something that we need to lift our spirits? In which case, perhaps it will be hastily brought forward. Is it something we would see as an extravagant in harsh times? Then it will be given some leeway. But anyway, here we are, and the 9th day of the 9th month of 2022, a year that has seen a great deal happen, a year that has seen tragedy, crisis, joy, exaltation in equal measure. But let's remember, we started off the year with lockdown lifted and a chance to celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. So let's just remember what it was like. Right, there we are. Much happier days. And what's this? Oh, I see. No, it's okay. I'm still here as far as I'm aware. Yes, it's and with Uncle Max at the helm. He's off to do his health program a little later. So he came breezing in through the door this morning. Not his usual self, I may say. Is one or two little traumas along the way, but joined me to for us to say farewell to Queen Elizabeth, and I suppose hello to King Charles, because that's the situation that we find ourselves in. Here it is on Friday. On Wednesday, we knew that the family were gathering to Balmoral, but there wasn't really an indication that the Queen was so poorly that she was on her deathbed. I, for one, translated that movement into trying to just gather around to let a slightly ill monarch know that the family was there. But it turns out that obviously they'd been alerted that she was in very poor health and likely not to last for very long, and she hasn't. But after 70 years of glorious reign, of course, she became queen in 1952, although the coronation was not until 1953, which makes me think that Charles's coronation will probably not take place this year, that it will probably be at some stage next year, because I'm quite sure that as a nation we will want it to be the extravaganza that was his mother's. And it's important that we actually realize that we now have a king, King Charles the Third, and I actually caught by accident a little program that was being shown on one of the channels in which he was being interviewed, and some of his wilder schemes, where he talks to flowers, rips through the archaeology and the architects for what they were doing to the face of Britain, and all sorts of other curmudgeonly things, and which he says, I still have the space to do this because I'm not the monarch. But when I become monarch, you will see me with a very different face. So I wonder if that's the case. It may well be that that he will be a good king, that he will learn because he's sat at his mother's lap for long enough. Here's her coronation, standing on the balcony, as you can see, with a very young Prince Charles there, Princess Anne, Prince Philip, and other would-be pretenders to whatever, and the Queen. And that was taken in 1953 at the coronation. This is Balmoral, where the Queen died, where she would go on her summer holidays, and that's why she was there. She actually, what I can't find out at the moment, but I will, is whether she or somebody standing in for her actually met Liz Truss and Boris Johnson for the transfer of power from the one prime minister to the other. But it is said, people said that during this week she was in good spirits and laughing and sharing jokes and waving and so on. So it's possible that she did undertake that function, the last official function that she would have undertaken. So that's the situation as we have it at the moment. Let us to stream. There, we're back again. Let's just take a run through what the papers are saying, although much of the front pages speak for themselves this morning. The Times has the photograph. Sorry?
I just went to have a look at the list of monarchs. And you've lived through now 3 monarchs.
Yes, George the sixth.
Yeah. And then
Queen Elizabeth the second, and now Charles III. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Max. I hadn't realised that I had. Actually, strangely enough, almost immediately after the war, I remember my great aunts taking me to London to see. There was a parade for King George VI, who, of course, died of cancer. And he was so ill, and I can remember being on the Mall when the word came out that he was too ill to take part and that the thing had been cancelled. It's funny how these things come back into your mind. But anyway, the Times shows a picture of a portrait taken at the time of the coronation, and it simply says, "A life in service." The Daily Mail shows a photograph of the young Queen in 1953, and it says, "Our hearts are broken." The Daily Telegraph shows a more mature picture of the Queen. My guess would be when she was in her 60s, perhaps mid to late 60s. A photograph that actually shows the humor and softness of a mother in her face, and yet look at the eyes. They are steely eyes. She was a warrior queen. Grief is the price we pay for love. And that is directly taken from one of the speeches that she gave at some stage. Yes, Max?
I just noticed all of the headlines are black.
Well, some of them are. Some of them are.
Mirror is usually red. The Guardian's usually blue.
Yes, I see what you mean. Yeah.
The Daily Mail is usually the Daily Telegraph is usually black anyway.
Yeah. No, and particularly if you'll notice the use that some have used of I forget what tone they call the paper now, but it's a black and white photograph, and they've chosen that over the picture, the color picture, which the Times is showing.
The Financial Times.
Well, I'm not sure. We'll have to go and take a look at the Financial Times, won't we? But let's take a look at the Guardian first, who used the Cecil Beaton portrait from 1953. And the Guardian, it makes no comment whatsoever. It just says Queen Elizabeth II, 1926 to 2022. And then the Mirror, which is behaving itself today, just simply says, and it also has a mature photo, a profile photo, and it simply says, "Thank you." The Sun.
Well, the Sun is purple for the Jubilee.
The Sun is what, sorry?
Purple. Usually it's red.
Right. Yes. That's interesting. Anyway, the headline is, "We loved you, Mom." And once again, it's a picture of a mature Elizabeth. Looking fantastic, I may say. Looking absolutely fantastic.
I mean, even a couple of days ago, she still didn't look bad.
No, she looked great up until the end. And I sincerely hope, because of course history will start to record all sorts of things that we don't know right at this very moment. But when they say that she slipped peacefully away, I hope she did. She deserved not to die in any sort of misery. Do you know, I often wonder, Max, I know you're a very serious young man about a number of things, and one is your personal relationships. They are very important to you. and she actually did have a great love affair with Prince Philip. Oh, he was a feisty old boy. I mean, I ran into him 2 or 3 times and got my fingers. But they loved one another. They were in love, and that sort of bond is fantastic in any family. Missing to some extent in some of our families today, but I know that you believe in it very keenly. You're a great family unit man, aren't you? Yeah, you are. And she believed in the family unit too. So I think that the grief for Prince Philip may have played a part in her relatively early demise.
Oh, yeah, he only died, what?
A year ago.
14 months ago?
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, the son says, "We loved you, Mum." And is it that lovely photograph? Okay, push it up. The Eye uses the portrait from the coronation. It also does not make any comment. It simply says Queen Elizabeth II. 1926 to 2022. It's just short of her majority. Where are we next? The Daily Express. Our beloved Queen is dead. And once again, that lovely photograph. But you look, it doesn't matter. Every paper, I suspect, will have this photograph, even though not necessarily on its front pages. As you look at that face, yes, it is soft. Yes, it is emotional. Yes, it is humanitarian. But the eyes are the steel of a successful leader, and she has got to rank above the world's great successful leaders. She has not only held a disparate country together, but she managed to take the empire and turn it into the Commonwealth in a very successful way. And the steel in the eyes shows just that she had those leadership qualities, and that, in fact, she had the courage to push these things through, which weren't always necessarily popular.
So I did think it was strange, and I didn't really question it too much, how that they rushed Liz Truss's inauguration, because it was supposed to take place today, but they did it 4 days early, 3 days early.
I didn't know that.
Because she was announced to be the next prime minister on the 5th and inaugurated on the 9th. I did think it was odd how they did it ahead of time, but
this explains it now.
Yeah.
Yes. So that this monarch could see through. Something like her 18th or 19th prime minister, as I recall.
Yeah.
Which over a period of 50 years, 70 years, it's quite a few. Quite a few. Right. The Daily Star, which would normally be very irreverent, it just shows the same photograph, the same painting. "You did your duty, ma'am," it says. And when it comes to, when, as they say in Northern Ireland, I'm not sure whether we say it over here, when Hardy comes to Hardy, is the Star came through and behaved with dignity and in the way that it should at the passing of a monarch. Now, you asked about the Financial Times, and it's not there. And as a matter of fact, I don't have our paper here sitting on the desk because when I went in, the papers hadn't arrived. In other words, obviously the print run was late.
Do you want me to go see if they've arrived?
Yeah, it might be a good idea. And I will see if I can find.
If it is there, I'll find copy.
Right, you are. No, we don't have the Financial Times this morning in the run. We don't know what it is saying. There is the headquarters, if you like, Buckingham Palace, where the Queen would, of course, she was away an awful lot. And I noticed that there is no flag flying over that building when this photograph was taken. So the photograph was taken is when she was not in residence, because the Royal Standard flies over the palace when she is actually at home, as it were. So that tells us a lot. Let's just once again remind ourselves that this is or was Jubilee year. So, Jubilee year, and perhaps it is fitting, and perhaps it is apt that Jubilee year is the year in which the Queen passed away. Perhaps we could say she went at the top of her game, and it is one of those things that we would like to think was designed and not by accident, but still, that's her. Now, I'm going to do something we've never done before. We are going to take 5 minutes because we want to bring in our American people, and we do have a slight technical thing. So we're going to say a toodle pip just for 5 minutes while we actually contact them and make sure that we can get the American viewpoint in a little while, because that's one of the unique things that we can do. So we're going to end the broadcast, as they say, and
Hang on a minute.
say goodbye. We'll see you in a minute.
If we end it.
Oops. Never mind.